We're going on with a little bit more about how this group got from San Francisco to Berkeley.
Yeah, we decided to leave San Francisco because of the amount of abuse we were putting up with at the Federal Reserve. We were woke up several times. They sprayed us. I've got emphysema, so I'm very sensitive to the chemicals that they're using.
Right.
I was having a problem breathing. Plus, we had drugs and alcohol showing up, which would have sidetracked everything that we were doing. We didn't want that. And we didn't want the police abuse. The police were already threatening to illegally arrest us. So we're not out here to get arrested illegally. And in San Francisco, we couldn't get legal help anyways to protect us. So we decided, because of all these things, to come to Berkeley and to set up in Berkeley. And once we got here, we were so welcomed that we didn't want to leave. And we have developed a movement out here. We've united several different groups together out here under the banner of Saving the Post Office. Which is all the Occupy movements: Occupy San Francisco, Occupy Oakland, Occupy Berkeley, Occupy Santa Cruz, who's him. We had Occupy LA and Occupy Sacramento help us with the garden. Okay, so Occupy is involved. The Berkeley Post Office Defenders, or BPOD, which is who we are. We're BPOD Defenders. They are the locals, and then there's also the Berkeley Post Office Defense, which is a separate group. So you've got two groups locally working, and then you've got our group and all the Occupy groups coming together. So all of that is what's coming together to set up the defense of this post office now, as it is.
Wow.
And what we're trying to do is just get more people involved. We're not going to save this building. Realistically, I already know, we're not going to save this building with 3 people sitting outside of it and a handful of supporters coming by. We need to take this street. We need to have 1,000 people out here raising hell. That might get some people's attention. I think they don't want any media attention at all, which is one of the reasons they didn't mess with the garden. If they come and move on that garden, KPFA is right over there. I'm on KPFA on a regular basis.
Really?
This thing is on KPFA regularly. CBS Radio, there was a very nice reporter from CBS Radio who said, please keep me in the loop. I want to do stories on this. That's a huge thing. We're used to a blackout for what we do. Now to have all these reporters line up, it's great.
Why do you think that's happening?
Because we picked a hot issue. We purposefully picked the post office as something to unify the movement and to bring union support and Occupy together. And this is because a lot of what Angela had to do. Angela helped us in San Francisco while we were occupying the Federal Reserve. The Postal Union supported us. It was the only union that supported the homeless. So the homeless in return stepped up and joined with the Postal Union in San Francisco, and we took over the post office on Van Dyke. I don't know if you remember that from a couple years ago. And because we took over that post office, we got 5 of 6 post offices off the chopping block, including the Bayview Post Office, which was our main target. We needed to save the Bayview Post Office. It's a little tiny building. Bayview it's just on the corner, but it is the only post office that the Bayview residents had. They would have had to go 2 miles out of their way on bus to go get their mail if we hadn't saved that post office. And that was the reason. And after living in Bayview in my RV for a year, in my opinion, not being from San Francisco, but that's the only true community that's left in San Francisco. I walk down the streets down there, they're barbecuing. There's a barbecue on the street, and there's a group of people around there sharing food. That's community. You go over to the Castro, there's no barbecues on the street. These people are barely noticing each other in a hurry to get along with their lives. In Bayview, people stop and talk. There's a lesson to be learned here, and Bayview is on the chopping block. It's in the road to gentrification right now. It needs to stop. They need to leave that place alone and maybe go study that place and use what they see there for the rest of San Francisco.
That's Lennar. Lennar is doing that.
I know a lot of good radical people out there. Lamisha, I love her. I have never met Mary Radcliffe, but she is paying attention online to what we're doing.
Yes, she is.
And I hear that she's a real mover. This needs to be publicized. The Postal Union is the largest employer of minorities in the country. So I think it's 40% are black. Mm-hmm. So if the Postal Union goes down, that 40% living wage jobs that may be in the black communities, if you lose those jobs in those communities, that just brings down the community overall. Mm-hmm. It needs to be stopped. The way our country is set up right now is if you're black or brown, you're basically screwed. you're basically screwed. If you're white and poor, you're basically screwed. And it's a lot of the economic things. But nobody's addressing what needs to be addressed as far as giving these people an opportunity and giving their communities money. And the money comes from the people's jobs. If they don't have enough money to go spend at the local store, their community is going to suffer. If they don't have enough money to, just even to buy, the luxury, not quite luxury, but not necessary items, those items that are wanted and desired but not needed, that is gone completely. You don't get the opportunity to buy things that you want anymore because you're so busy buying what you need. Mm-hmm. It needs to come back to getting some of the things that you want as well. And that is totally gone. And then if you look,
I think what you're talking about is the destruction of the middle class.
The middle class, and when you destroy the middle class is supporting some low class as well. Some of that money is going to the people who aren't making money. So if you dry up that, then this fringe group that was getting a little bit of it gets even less.
Right.
And you can't keep taking away. At this point, I believe it's 80% of America is one paycheck away from.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not good. I have bad health. I know how quick it is to lose something when your health goes. These people break a finger, literally a broken finger, could be enough to cost them their job, which could be enough to cost them everything they own. And there's not enough being done to protect the people of this country right now. Everything is being funneled to the rich. You got corporate welfare, and they talk about how our food stamps and how our general assistance checks are crippling our country. No. Billions of dollars are being paid into corporate welfare, and the money that's left over is being used to blow up people around the world. That's not helping the people. Our infrastructure is falling apart. Another overpass collapsed 2 days ago. One person killed.
Where?
I-75. I don't know which state it's in, but it was definitely I-75. So, and I-75 is in Michigan and goes north-south, I believe.
Oh, I can check that out. I can put it in here.
One person was killed.
I can put this in the video.
Yeah, so if they're not taking care of the basics, which they aren't, of course, then our lives as the citizens of this country is only going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. The youth are not totally asleep, but they're not awake yet either.
I just asked Mike if there's something important to wrap up that he needs to say, and I think he was going to say, get off your ass, come on out here.
Get off your butts, people. You've got 3 to 4 people, homeless people at that. The bottom of society are out here making a difference. 4 of us. We're taking on one of the richest people in the country, one of the most powerful people in the country.
Let's get his ass face on here again.
Yeah, and of course, this is Senator Dianne Feinstein's husband, so.
Do you know, folks, this is Dianne Feinstein's husband, Dick Blum. Okay, now you know.
So we are targeting this guy. Also, one other thing on Richard Blum is he is on the UC Berkeley Board of Regents. Guess who got to raise their tuition 28% this year? That's why we made this sticker. That's why it's got the UC Berkeley emblem on it.
Okay, let's
because
focus in on that.
We are going to reach out to the students with this sticker and try to group up with some students out here as well, because this is their post office. I'm not going to live forever. When I'm dead, these kids are still going to need a post office, so they need to get involved too. And we've got a lot of student involvement. They're just not out here on the grounds with us on a regular basis. But we need to educate them on the importance of the post office. I know the educational system in our country is really bad.
Yes, and this guy I met on BART today obviously didn't have a clue about that the post office was financially fine until they hit it with this weapon.
And what are they going to do in 2016 when the House resolution, because it's only 10 years of payments, what happens when that's over? What are they going to use as an excuse to say the post office is broke then? I think they're hoping to break it enough by selling off the infrastructure that they can say it can no longer function like it used to. We need to finish privatizing it. Yeah. They're going to come up with some excuse to continue their plan.
Yes.
But we'll be here waiting, and we will have a counter plan.